All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is for you. If you're watching this recording on YouTube, this is our daily edition of My Empowered Political Life, our new little webcast series. Again, if you are not following us on Facebook, there will be a link below. So you can follow us on Facebook. If you're not following on YouTube, there will be a link below to follow us on YouTube, as well as links to join our email list. Get yourself a quick little checklist on daily actions you can take to live your empowered political life, as well as get on our list for our new Monday Ask Me Anything, Monday AMA. And today is Monday already. Today's Monday, March 24th, 2025. So we will be doing the AMA at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern today. And as always, we're going to keep this up for as long as we can, as long as we can take it. We're going to do this at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, My Empowered Political Life. And today, what do we got for you? DOGE attacks Social Security. And I do want to say real quick, I was a little concerned when I started this daily series that I wouldn't have enough to talk about. It actually turns out I have too much to talk about, and I'm even having a hard time. There's so many stories, there's so many things to cover, there's so much happening. For those of you who don't have a lot of time, like I do, to follow the news, for me, it's part of my job, literally, to follow all of this legal and political news. So I'm breaking it down for you in these 15-minute increments. And I'm finding that there are so many stories that I'm having trouble choosing. Today, we're going to talk about Social Security and what's happening with DOGE there. So a little bit of background, and we're going to talk more about DOGE, the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. We're going to talk about them some more in the upcoming days and weeks because there's a lot of stories involving them. It was created by executive order, and to be clear, it's not really a real government department. They are calling it the Department of Government Efficiency. There literally is no such government departments. Government departments are created by Congress and money is appropriated by Congress. But in this case, DOGE was not created by Congress and there's no appropriation to fund it. So it's not a real thing. And I would love it if every time the news media talked about DOGE, they had a little asterisk that went to a footnote that says, just so you all know, there is no real such thing. There's an executive order from the president, from the administration that says we have DOGE, but there is no such government department. Congress has not created a department and has not appropriated funds to fund it. Now, there is legal confusion about the status of DOGE and who's in charge, because as I said, there's no statute that enacts it. The president has said publicly multiple times that Elon Musk is in charge of DOGE. So there we got Elon with his little black hat. But in court, the Department of Justice says that someone named Amy Gleason is in charge of DOGE. So the president says Elon Musk is in charge, but the Department of Justice, in court filings under penalty of perjury, says Amy Gleason is in charge of DOGE. So who's in charge? I don't know, and neither do you. Uh, Nobody seems to know who's in charge of DOGE. Elon Musk is acting like he's in charge. The president's treating it that way, but again, in court, the government lawyers are saying Amy Gleason is in charge. Now, who's Amy Gleason? You might be wondering. Amy Gleason is a former mid-level staffer in a different agency who apparently found out she was in charge of DOGE while she was on vacation in Mexico and saw a tweet. Apparently, that's how she found out that she was in charge of DOGE. Now, DOGE has inserted people into the Social Security Administration, or SSA. Like I said, I wanted to talk about the Social Security Administration today. So DOGE claims they have found evidence of fraud in the form of millions of people who were over 100 years old receiving Social Security checks. There's an ongoing dispute over whether this is true at all. It appears it's not true from what I can tell right now. It appears that DOGE has simply misunderstood how the Social Security computer system works. And so they have claimed to have found millions of people who are supposedly over 100 and or dead receiving Social Security checks. But again, from what we can tell so far, it looks like they have simply misinterpreted the data in the computer system. And here's what I want to get into more today. DOGE has obtained access to millions of Americans' personal information. So if you have a Social Security number, DOGE now has your Social Security number, your bank account information, your birth date. In other words, everything they would need for identity theft. DOGE has access to all of it. Now, there have been some lawsuits filed by a number of labor unions who represent Social Security employees and a group called Democracy Forward, which is a nonprofit legal advocacy group who they filed a lawsuit on behalf of all the people whose data was taken. And so they filed a lawsuit against SSA and its acting commissioner, Leland Dudek, to stop DOGE from accessing people's personal data. This is from Carrie Ann Jones. She's the attorney for the plaintiffs in the Democracy Forward suit. She said, essentially what you have is DOGE just swooping in and bullying their way into access to millions of Americans' private data. They cannot explain why they want this data. They can't really tell you what data they want. They just want everything. They want the source code and they want to do it without any restrictions. And that seems to be the case so far. DOGE has simply just demanded access to all of your personal data. And again, if you have a Social Security number, DOGE now has access to all of your personal data, your birth date, your Social Security, your address, your bank account, you name it. What does DOGE want with your personal data? I don't know. DOGE has not explained what they want with your personal data, but they have it. The case was assigned to U.S. District Judge Ellen Hollander in Maryland. This is her. Now, Judge Hollander, as with many of the judges dealing with some of these cases, is a longtime respected judge. This is someone with impeccable legal credentials, who is a longtime state court judge in the state of Maryland. And in 2010, she was appointed to the federal bench as a federal district court judge. So again, these high profile cases are being assigned to longtime, smart, competent judges, which is good. That's what we want. We don't want these cases going to brand new judges. We want them going to longtime, competent judges. And Judge Ellen Hollander, if you worked in government before and seen some of the cases, you probably heard of her. And she ruled that DOGE cannot keep accessing sensitive data from the Social Security Administration. In other words, she said, DOGE needs to be cut off. They can no longer get your personal data. Here's a quote from her ruling. The DOGE team is essentially engaged in a fishing expedition at SSA in search of a fraud epidemic based on little more than suspicion. It has launched a search for the proverbial needle in the haystack without any concrete knowledge that the needle is actually in the haystack. So you can tell Judge Hollander, like some of the other judges we've seen recently, is a little pissed off and a little exasperated by what's happening. Judge Hollander went on to say, the government has not even attempted to explain why a more tailored, measured, titrated approach is not suitable to the task. Instead, the government simply repeats its incantation of a need to modernize the system and uncover fraud. Its method of doing so is tantamount to hitting a fly with a sledgehammer. So what's happening right now? In response to Judge Hollander's ruling, the acting commissioner, Leland Dudek, he threatened to shut down the agency. Literally. This is the acting commissioner of SSA right now, Leland Dudek. And a quote from him, really, I want to turn it off and let the courts figure out how they want to run a federal agency. This is his quote. As the acting commissioner said, because the judge has stopped DOGE's access to your personal data, he wants to shut down Social Security. meaning literally just stop sending checks. So 70 million Americans who rely on their Social Security checks won't get their checks anymore because he is upset with the judge's decision. Now, Judge Hollander thankfully stepped in and made it clear that her order required no such thing. She said employees of SSA who are not involved with the DOGE team or in the work of the DOGE team are not subject to the order. A DOGE affiliate is defined in the order as a person working on or implementing the DOGE agenda. So Judge Hollander made it clear that she was not in any way trying to shut down the entire agency, that she was simply trying to make sure that Elon Musk and the other DOGE employees do not get access to your personal private data. Again, we are talking here about your personal private data. What else is happening? There's a lot of slashing of SSA staff. So apparently in connection or cooperation with DOGE, Social Security is cutting 7,000 people from their staff. That's something like 12% of their staff, if I've done the math correctly. And they're going to close district offices. Now, already it takes a month to get an appointment at a Social Security district office. You can imagine if they close down offices and fire 7,000 people, it's going to be much more difficult to get your appointments and get any help. Once again, please remember, like and subscribe. If you like what we're doing, if you want more people to see it, then the simplest, easiest thing you can do, which costs you nothing, is to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, to follow our Facebook page. Whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook right now, there will be links below. Check out the description. Make sure you follow us and like and subscribe. So now let's get to Doors and Corners, our new daily segment. I'm already loving this segment. I'm already getting a ton of amazing feedback on this segment. We are going to look behind doors and we're going to look around corners so that we are not surprised by what's happening. So we are not caught by surprise by the things coming up. So all this DOGE stuff, accessing your private data, why do they need that data? I don't really know. They claim they're doing it to find fraud, but they haven't really found a whole lot in the way of fraud. Why does DOGE need your name, your social security number, your bank account, your date of birth, your address? DOGE has obtained access to all of that, all of your private data. You might want to start thinking about, why does Elon Musk want your personal private data? I'm not talking about other people. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about me. Why does Elon Musk want access to your personal private data? What does he plan to do with it? I don't know. I'm not sure any of us know, but he's gotten access to it. And now we've had a federal judge say he should not have access. It should be cut off. Is it too late? I mean, if he already has access, I don't know if it's too late or not. We'll see what happens. Then we have the head of Social Security, who was formerly a mid-level staffer who was promoted to head the entire Social Security administration, throwing what amounted to a temper tantrum and saying, if you're going to cut off the access of Elon Musk from our private data, I'm just going to stop the checks from flowing. I'm going to stop 70 million Americans from getting the income they need to survive and pay their rent every month. Why did he throw that temper tantrum? I don't know. Then the judge had to step in and clarify her order, which it should not have been necessary. I mean, really, to say that I am not ordering that Social Security shut down. Now, her original order said nothing of the sort, but she was fearful that 70 million Americans would stop getting checks. And so she stepped in to say, no, that's not what I'm saying. Now, the acting commissioner, Leland Dudek, has now backed off of his threat to shut down the Social Security agency. Thank goodness. And cutting the staff is going to hurt customer service. As I said a minute ago, right now, it takes a month to get an in-person appointment at a Social Security district office. And they're about to close down half the offices and fire 7,000 people, which means for those who need personal help in resolving problems with their Social Security checks. That's about to become much more difficult for them. Again, what is the point in doing that? I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't really save all that much money in terms of the federal budget. So there's still a lot that we don't know. There's some sort of agenda happening behind the scene. I don't know what it is. I can guess, I can speculate. We all can. Again, thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate all of you here on Facebook watching live. I pretty appreciate everybody on YouTube. Check out the descriptions below. Join us on this journey.